Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you about my experience and give you a little bit of a recap of CubingUSA Great Lakes FMC Champs 2023, which happened last weekend. And this is the smallest competition I've ever attended, and it was pretty fun, I would say, except for one thing which you will see in this video, so let's get right into it. So the Great Lakes FMC Champs was just FMC, like that was the competition. It was literally from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and that's about it. So on an overall, it was pretty fun, and I did kind of enjoy the vibe of just having 8 or 9 people. So where I attended the competition, there were just 8 or 9 people. And yeah, it was pretty fun. And overall, I don't really do FMC as much, but I did manage to get a really good single, and you should check that video out. It'll be right up here at this very second. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed it somehow, in the sense I wouldn't usually enjoy an FMC attempt, let alone 3, but there was a little bit of a disappointment at this competition, which I will also get into. So my practice going into this competition was I learned NIS, which is normal inverse scramble switch method to find a fewest move solution for the Rubik's Cube about 2 days before the competition, and I didn't really have much of a hope. In that sense, I was just going in it, to have some fun and hopefully apply some of the intuition I developed about the Rubik's Cube in the last 6.5 years. So let's go with, the first of the 3 scrambles. Here was Scramble 1, and Scramble 1 I got a 35 move solution on, and it wasn't a very hard scramble in that sense, so let's see what I did. Good thing is I have my sheets of working from the competitions, so I kept them, and I can, show you guys now. So yeah, here's the scramble. It's up here. I'll just put it on the top of the screen. So yeah, this is the scramble, and the first thing I found was, since this is not exactly a reconstruction, I'm just gonna run through what I did. First thing I found was this, about 7 moves, I think. Yeah, this is a 7 move 2x2x2 on the first scramble. And then I couldn't really find anything else, so I switched to the inverse, I believe, at this point. Although I may not have switched to I did switch to the inverse at this point. So I'm going to switch to the inverse right away. So yeah, this is the inverse, and the first thing I did was continue with yellow. So I did something like that. And that kind of set up a really, really cool trick. So those 3 moves, R prime, U2, B2, actually set up solving this corner with this edge along with this corner, this edge in this corner, which would actually set up this insertion at the back. So I used it's not a pseudo slot, it's just keyhole to solve that corner like this instead of like that. I solved it like that, so that would solve this, and then while solving this I would break this up perfectly to solve in the back. So that was about 12 moves plus 7, so I had a 19 move F2L, which I think was pretty okay. So then I just solved this OLL like that, and I had a soon, which I knew would give me a parallel skip. So that's what I got on my first scramble. Very lucky to find this soon parallel skip combination. But I think the reward, this was a reward for the way I approached the F2L on yellow. So yeah, I'm just going to take that. The full solution is just normal followed by the inverse of the inverse. So that looks something like that. So yeah, nothing too impressive, honestly. A 35 is not that impressive. But what comes next is even less impressive, so let's see what that is. Here was Scramble 2. And this scramble was a lot harder for me, since I didn't know anything about domino reduction and all the fancy techniques on FMC. But I ended up finding a 42 or 43 move solution. This is a 44 I found initially with the sad face next to it. But I did find like a 42 or 43, which is very mediocre. It's not that great, to be fair. But the issue was I ran out of time, and I ended up writing the solution here. And I did also write it on my main sheet. But while copying this onto the main sheet, I missed a move. And in fact, if I'm not wrong, I missed this exact B prime. I remember that because I remember going back to my main sheet and I realized that this B prime wasn't there after time. So just in case you don't know, you get 1 hour for each FMC attempt. And within that 1 hour, you're basically given the freedom to do what you want, except you have to finish in that 1 hour. and you have to have your solution written on the final sheet, which I didn't. I mean, I did, except I missed this move. So the final sheet solution did not work. And even if I wanted to go back to this solution, there is a case to be made where you can turn in your working, but your solution has to be clearly defined on the piece of paper and marked out. And as you can see, all I drew was a simple line. So rightly so, the delegate told me that this couldn't be accepted as my solution because he couldn't tell if this was my solution, this is my solution, and that's very fair. So kudos to the delegate for doing, his job. But of course, it felt really bad. I was like, oh, come on, there's a line, this has to be it, right? It's the line. But no, I mean, I fully accept his point and his judgment. And it was a bit sad because this is my first mean in 5 years. And I really wanted to get like a good mean. Had this counted, this would have been a 43 had it counted. And that would have made a 35, a 43. And as you will see next, I actually got a 24, which is pretty cool. And so my mean would have been, let's see, what is this? 78, 90, 102 over 3, which is 34 moves, right? Which would have been a great mean to have. But I missed that. So that's how the story goes. I honestly don't want to get into this solution because it was so terrible. So I'm going to spare you guys the solution. In case you want to do it, here's the scramble, here's the solution. Pause the video and try it out. It's horrible. Let's just go to the next one. It's the final scramble. This is arguably the best part of my competition, and honestly, I don't hate to say it. I'm just surprised that I'm saying this, but my cubing career, because I've never actually taken FMC seriously. But yeah, this scramble I found a 24 move solution on, which placed me 3rd in India, and top 50 in Asia, top 200 in the world, and it was pretty good. Also, thanks to Raghav for that information. I didn't know about the other 2 facts. So. Yeah, this scramble was a bit weird. Before I get into the solution for this though, you should check out the video where I go into full detail and give you a full breakdown of this solution. Yeah, this is my working for the last one, and it was a really fruitful outcome. Because I found a 33 initially and then got it down to a 30, could not get it down below the 30, but eventually found an insertion of a commutator for corners that I could move around and got it down to a 29. And then realized that I could keep moving that around, and I kept going backwards to find where it would be the best to insert it. And I inserted it at a point that led me to a 24 move solution. And that was absolutely insane. So for reference, I think my first few moves they involved making this, and then making this square. And then I believe I did something like that to get an 8 move 2x2x3. And then I switched to the inverse at this point. So that would be something like this. Let me just set that up. Yeah, so this is the inverse, and on the inverse I went ahead with green because I saw this, right? And yeah, that was pretty good because I went ahead and solved this, and I didn't solve this pair normally. In fact, I didn't solve this first. The first thing I went and did was solve these corners and then go into this. And you can see the entire breakdown in this video. I'm linking it for, well, I don't know if I'm even allowed to link it that many times, but you can find the video in the description, and you should totally check it out. It's the last video before this, and it's absolutely amazing to see how I was able to find where I could use this corner commutator, which I will show you now. So I did this and then inserted this in a fancy way so that I could pair these 2 pieces and put them in back here. With this edge already being solved, that would solve all my edges. And I would have only got 3 or 4 corners to solve at the end. That is actually what I did, yeah. So then I just had a 3-corner com, which in this case is here to here to here. And the com itself is pretty simple. But yeah, finding where to insert it was a real challenge and took me the most time. So you should check that video out. And yeah, that's all for this video, I guess. This is like the best thing ever. I wish I could screenshot this in my head forever. And anyway. So yeah, that sums up the video pretty much. That was my experience. This is my first competition here, and I was pretty happy with the result. I guess I wanted a good mean, but yeah, on an overall, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will make a small tutorial about NIS in FMC, which is again the normal inverse scramble switch. And yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you guys. Let me know what else you want to see on the channel. And yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe now if you haven't already. Take care and peace.